Hi, I'm 18 years old and this is my first time paying taxes. I really don't know what I'm doing. Can you tell me how much I owe and I'll just pay it? No, we can't do that. You have to figure out that amount for yourself. Oh, okay. Well, if I'm just a little bit off in the amount I owe, it'll be okay because it's my first time, right? Oh, no, we already know how much you owe exactly. I mean, down to the penny, but you still have to figure that out for yourself. Well, what if I get that amount wrong? You go to federal prison. What?
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the O Show. And on today's show, I've got a very special friend of mine. I have Andrew Gordon. He is your attorney, your crypto tax pro, everything you need to know about crypto taxes and crypto legal stuff. Andrew can help. He's a reoccurring guest on my show. How are you doing today, Andrew?
Hey, Wendy, thank you very much for having me.
I'm excited to chat to you today. So, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we get started with my questions?
Sure. So again, my name is Andrew Gordon. I'm an attorney, also a CPA, but don't get too worried. I use my powers for good. I've been practicing in the crypto space actually for several years. So since late 2013, early 2014, and I help clients with everything from crypto reconciliations, tax return filings, and even crypto audits and investigations.
Ooh, interesting. Well, we're not going to talk about the crypto audits and investigations. We're going to keep this light and user friendly because the purpose of this is really just to kind of learn more about your partnership with ZEN Ledger, because ZEN Ledger is a tax service that I like to use. And I also want to kind of help my audience because there's a lot of misinformation going on all over the internet about crypto taxes. And now is the time to file your crypto taxes. So we're going to go ahead and ask you some questions. So my first question. Tell me a little bit more about your services and how you have partnered with ZEN Ledger.
Sure. So if you're trading cryptocurrency, unfortunately, most exchanges or pretty much all the exchanges don't do the tax reporting for you. So if you were trading stocks on E-Trade or even Robinhood, at the end of the year, Robinhood gives you a tax statement. It's super easy to understand and follow. You give it to your CPA or accountant. They enter it into the tax return, and that's the end of it. But with crypto, that form doesn't exist. There is no what's referred to as 1099B for crypto exchanges, especially when you have different exchanges, different wallets. So you have to create it yourself. And that's what we do. And that's what ZEN Ledger also helps to provide, is to help take all of that different data from all the different exchanges, all of your trades, and create a tax report that you can use to file your tax return.
So when we're talking about crypto taxes a little bit, I want to elaborate a little bit more about that form that you're talking about. But with crypto, that makes it unique to traditional assets is we have mining, we have airdrops, we have pretty big losses that we experience. Now we have gas fees. So does ZEN Ledger software, in your professional opinion, does that really help somebody that's trying to do their taxes, whether they want to do it on their own or if somebody comes to you and is like, Andrew, I need help?
Yeah, so I can't say it's impossible to do it on your own, but it's pretty darn close. Because if you're just using Excel and trying to calculate all your gains and losses, especially if you have, again, different exchanges or wallets, it is a nightmare. And so ZEN Ledger takes all that data and using either APIs or just uploading CSV files of all your transactions, takes all of it, helps organize, asks you questions about unmatched withdrawals and trades, basically is the TurboTax-like equivalent, but for cryptocurrency transactions, so that after you go through it all, you could actually have a tax report.
And why do you prefer ZEN Ledger over other crypto tax softwares? Because we're starting to see more pop up all over the place.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, every year there seem to be more and more that come out. But ZEN Ledger does a number of things really well. Number one, it's very user friendly. It's easy for someone that even that isn't very familiar with crypto tax reporting to go through the steps. It's intuitive. It walks you through it, helps you from start to finish reconcile your transactions. So that's number one. But number two is they have a very robust audit trail. And so myself as a practitioner, we want to make sure that the end deliverable is something that we can actually support to the IRS and show how we got there. And so ZEN Ledger and the back end has something called a Grand Unified Accounting Report. And this shows basically the audit trail, how everything was done. So it's not just this box that you throw your data into and something comes out and you hope it's right. There's actually an audit trail that you can look to. And as a professional, I think that that's very helpful.
Quick question, with Zen Ledger, can somebody just get their ledger address and plug it in there as well, and it'll automatically calculate that for them?
Yeah, you can import wallet addresses, ledger addresses, often just by, as long as you have the public address, you could import it in. Also just using API with exchanges. So you don't need to do a lot of manual uploading or importing. It's just a matter of linking things.
I'm just thinking about this for all these bot traders, anybody who utilizes bots. If you guys are using bots, I'm sure that you've got a long list of transactions that you're going to get, but Zen Ledger will calculate that for you. Quick question, if somebody's out of the country, can they still utilize Zen Ledger? Is it just exclusive to the United States?
So we have a lot of clients that are U.S. persons, U.S. citizens, green card holders that are living abroad all over the U.S. And so no matter where you live, if you're a U.S. taxpayer, Zen Ledger can help you.
Awesome. Okay, so give me a little bit of inside information on how Zen Ledger can give a crypto investor an edge. Because as you know, taxes can be tricky. And is there any type of format that they have, or anything that a trader or investor should look at that might tell them like when to buy, when to sell, like due to the tax implications?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And another very powerful feature of Zen Ledger, which is that there's a tax loss harvesting report. And so people often come to me and say, hey, how can I minimize my taxes? How can I reduce my crypto capital gains? And one of the best strategies out there is referred to as tax loss harvesting. It's a legal way to reduce your gains, and you do so by selling crypto that you're holding that's at an unrealized loss, meaning that the purchase price was higher than the price that it's trading at today. And so if you sell that crypto, then you'll realize that loss, and you can use that loss to offset other gains from other crypto or even stock or other property. And so Zen Ledger has a report that is generated that shows you, all right, which tokens do you have that are perhaps at a loss? But it's not even that simple. It takes it another step, because maybe you bought tokens over time, and so at all different prices. Zen Ledger will help you, for instance, say, hey, if you only sell 3 of these Ethereum, that'll be at a loss, but make sure you stop after only 3, because that 4th will be at a gain. Or, this other token, maybe you have to sell through a little bit of gain first, but then you'll have much more loss. And Zen Ledger will help you with the report analyze all that.
So technically, somebody can go ahead and use the tax or the harvesting tax loss. Is that correct?
Tax loss harvesting.
Tax loss harvesting. Yeah. They can go ahead and utilize that and maybe sell something for a bit of a loss, but take that capital and then invest it into something else and maybe get gains with that later on. But it'll kind of like cancel each other out because of the tax loss harvesting. Is that correct?
Correct. You can use those losses to offset other gains. And then also something that's really important is you can buy back in. You can either buy that same token again, you could buy another token. So often people are holding on to, I don't know if I could swear, but shit coins. And they've been holding on to it for years, just wondering, maybe it's going to someday go up. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But from a tax standpoint, you can sell it, realize that loss, use that to offset other gains.
Awesome. I'd love to hear it. I like to get different tips and tricks for different people. All right. So let me go ahead and ask you this question. What are your most common crypto tax questions? And you can give me maybe like 1 or 2 and kind of break it down just so that the people watching can get an idea of, just get some alpha.
Yeah, definitely. So the most common question is going from one crypto to another taxable? And the answer to that is yes. But believe it or not, that question still comes up almost every day. So if you bought Ethereum, for instance, and then converted it to Bitcoin, the exchange of Ethereum to Bitcoin is a taxable event. It's the same as selling that first token and buying the second. Very similarly, if you use Bitcoin to buy a Porsche or you buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks with cryptocurrency, that's also a taxable event. So it's not just when you exit or sell for fiat, but every time you convert, exchange, swap, do any of those types of things, that's typically a taxable event.
Wow. And what's the tax rate on that?
Yeah, so the tax rate depends. It depends if you held that token or that coin for short term, less than a year, or for longer than a year. And so if it's longer than a year, the tax rates are about half. either 15 or 20%. It could be zero, but you'd have to have very low income overall. So long-term, typically 15 or 20%. Short-term is your ordinary tax rate, which means it's just whatever your tax bracket is. Typically, let's call it 30%. So about double the long-term tax rate. So again, a great tax strategy for people out there is hold your crypto for longer than a year. And that way you can cut your tax rate substantially.
Interesting. Any other common crypto tax questions you get asked that you want to talk about? Because I have my personal one, but I'll wait till the end to ask you.
Yeah, sure. So it's becoming more and more common now for people to receive crypto as payment for services or even as their job. Miami recently announced that they're going to start paying their employees in cryptocurrency. There have been football players that are receiving payment in cryptocurrency. And so something that's really important to know, though, is that that is still taxable to you. It's income at the fair market value of the crypto at the time it's received. So if you get paid on Fridays in Bitcoin, whatever that Bitcoin is worth on that Friday, that is the amount of income that you received, even if you don't sell it. And so later, if the price goes down, oh, well, you still have income at that amount.
Wow. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get in trouble this year. Well, not in trouble, but I'm going to have to pay a lot this year. But that's a good thing. And I'm very blessed. So the last question I want to ask, and this is actually a personal question for me that I was kind of thinking about. So can I take, okay, so let's say, for example, let's say I got Bitcoin at $4,000 because we saw that nasty drop last year. And I want to take some profit on it because there's too much volatility. Can I convert that Bitcoin profit into a stable coin to avoid paying capital gains? And would I just pay taxes on converting to the stable coin to USD when I do decide to actually cash it out and realize it?
So, Wendy, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. And I'm sorry that seems to be the common topic today, but unfortunately, that is also a taxable event. Selling one token for a stable token, or even going from a stable token to another token, or even another stable token. These are all taxable events. But, Wendy, there's a big difference between having to report on your taxes versus actually paying a tax. And so in the first case, when we're going from Bitcoin to a stable token, that is a reportable and taxable event. You're going to have to pay taxes on any gains that you have in the conversion of that Bitcoin to that stable token. And so whatever that Bitcoin was trading at that time, that's basically the sales proceeds amount. And whatever you bought it for initially, that's your cost basis. So if you sold it today and it's around 50,000, you bought it at 4, and you now converted it to USDC, you've got a gain of $46,000, even though you haven't cashed it out for currency. Okay. Then say later on, you convert it to USD. You go from USDC to USD. That will be reportable, have to show on your tax return you sold the USDC, but typically there will be no gain or loss because USDC is 1-to-1 with the dollar. So there won't be a gain or loss there, but again, reportable.
So, but I would have to actually pay a tax when I converted the Bitcoin to the stable coin.
You got it. Unfortunately, that is correct.
Okay. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, I can go ahead and take profit on my Bitcoin and I can go ahead and sell it into a stable coin. I can then take that stable coin, move it over to a crypto app that allows me to earn interest back on just keeping the stable coin there. And then I can go ahead and actually accumulate income from that interest, but I would have to pay taxes on that interest earned from that platform.
Correct. So interest earned, and it's great. Nowadays, stable coins as well as, other crypto, you can use platforms and earn interest.
And Andrew, thank you so much for answering all my questions. Do you want to plug yourself before you go?
Sure thing. So check us out on social media. We post a lot of great free content about everyone's favorite topic, crypto tax. So Gordon Law Ltd on Twitter and GordonLawLtd.com.
Awesome. Well, again, you guys, thank you so much. And if anybody is interested in utilizing Andrew's services, I highly recommend him. I've had him on the show multiple times. The man knows what he's talking about. And I also recommend that you guys do check out ZEN Ledger. They have an amazing service. You heard Andrew talk about it. He likes to use them. Do you advise your clients to use ZEN Ledger?
Absolutely. If you come to us and you don't want a full prepared service, so we'll take clients from start to finish through the process. But if you're just looking for a do-it-yourself solution, check out Zen Ledger.
Awesome. And you guys, if you use the code WENDY15, WENDY15, you get 15% off of your tax service from Zen Ledger only. So again, Andrew, thank you so much. I will have Andrew's links below, Zen Ledger's links, everybody's links. Have a great day.